from an undisclosed location, deep in the heartland, Science Radio International brings you Spooky Action at a Distance Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spooky Action at a Distance radio show. This is Kyle Finley.
Matt Judah.
Steve Snodgrass.
We're back for another great show this week.
Exciting rendition of this. Yeah.
Indeed.
Be the best.
UFO theory, extraterrestrial theory, hypotheses. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Trying to discover the truth?
Something like that.
Something like that.
We've been told that's what our radio show's about.
Sometimes we stray off the path.
I don't think we have a title for Mr. Powers. The usual host, we didn't like chief host, but...
You mean the John Squatch that comes wandering in every so often?
The John Squatch. Congratulations, John. John just earned his master's degree. The first
but I thought
potentially many. I don't know.
Everybody's got a master's degree.
Yeah, everybody needs a master's degree. So John is walking proud, walking tall right now, more than usual. He's on his way to the library to study some more.
Maybe it's a good thing we didn't have him on the show today.
That could be.
Probably knows everything about everything now.
Right.
He's a Numishio Kaku.
Well, and for anyone listening, I know I threw out some ideas and possibility of throwing out yet another extraterrestrial hypothesis, UFO hypothesis, after the two that I sort of proposed. And I would like to, if I'm granted the opportunity, to go through the gauntlet that is the Spooky Action at a Distance radio program with my new theory.
The gauntlet? Is this the final test?
You're talking to the two most argumentative of the bunch. So yeah,
I find myself somewhat argumentative.
Sometimes.
Give me a break.
I'm not like John, though.
I'm not. I don't say no to everything like John does.
Well, if you listen back to the orchestrated objective reduction thing back in, I think it was back in February or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was the last one you did, right?
I recall the both of you in this studio questioning everything at every point. Now, maybe that was by design since John wasn't here, but...
oh, yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
John was to say no at every point, yeah. So.
Okay, we can do it.
So to summarize, real briefly, I wanted to make this round one of the peer review process. This is round one, and perhaps, since I can't stay for the entire program, round two can occur next week, because this particular one, I kind of thought of you, Kyle, with this idea, since artificial intelligence was kind of the main topic last time I was here, and the non-computable
part of being human.
Part of being human and consciousness, the explanation for it. Mm-hmm. And so, wanted to pick up on that, and yet turn it a little bit more towards sort of, let's call it a hobby of yours. Two hobbies of yours, as a matter of fact. Robotics.
Yeah.
And gaming.
I do like both of those.
Okay, Kyle's in so far, so I have a customer. Matt, are you into gaming at all?
A little bit, yeah.
How about robotics?
Sure. Just to make this easier.
How about experiments and questioning the possible?
Yes.
There you go.
I'm in.
He's in.
Well, just to summarize real briefly, I posted not long ago 8 YouTube videos lasting, over an hour at least.
I watched all of those too.
You did? Well, I appreciate that. You're about the only one, because I keep checking how many viewers I've had, and there's lots of views on video number 1, and then half as many on video number 2, and then nobody watched video number 3, and then there's a spike at the end that some people were watching the later ones too.
They might just watch the first one and be like, well, this is kind of boring. Let's see what he's got for a conclusion. Skip to the end.
Skip to the end. That's exactly what's happening. Well, and at the end, for anybody who watched video number 8 and didn't skip straight to the end, I offered 2 main options, and I described them using Star Trek terminology. The idea is option number 1, the best explanation for a UFO ET hypothesis, I called the way of the traveler. I don't know if you guys are old enough. Perhaps not. But Star Trek Next Generation, Wesley Crusher, any of this coming back? Do you know anything about Wesley Crusher?
No, I've watched a lot more of the original than or Next.
Wesley encounters this guy named the Traveler, and he is a time traveler, so to speak. And when a warp bubble is being created in the engineering room, this Traveler guy teaches Wesley some tricks on how to do something to create and maintain and sustain a warp bubble that should be impossible for any human being to do, let alone any other creature. But this Traveler was teaching him how to do that sort of stuff.
So he had some advanced knowledge, and he was sharing it with him.
Exactly.
From the future, apparently.
Or the
yes,
past.
from the future and or the past. He just is this curious creature called the Traveler. And
did he say he was from the future? Or did people just
no, just
assume
that he travels back and forth. Not that he's from the future or just that he just, that's what he is. He's the Traveler. The idea is that he is a biological organism that has developed to the point where he is not confined, his body is not confined in any way to like a skin-encapsulated being, so to speak. So he is developed in his consciousness and his ability to open-mindedly think or something along those lines.
Why would he be... Did he have, like, motivation for traveling through time?
The only way I can answer that, I think, is that in one episode, Wesley, and he goes to... it was a Native American tribe that got kicked off planet after planet after planet, and he arrives at this particular planet where Native Americans have relocated. They finally have their own spot. And he goes up and he started to be instructed by this, shaman sort of guy. And he goes to have a vision quest. And during this vision quest, he experiences some things and begins to learn about some potential powers that he might have. Well, and as it turns out, this shaman that he meets is sort of I don't want to say a shapeshifter, because he's not a shapeshifter like on Deep Space Nine, sort of whoever that guy was. But it turns out to be the Traveler. And so eventually Wesley Crusher evaporates and sort of has this evolutionary advance or leap, and he goes off into the universe to travel with the Traveler. And my wife and I, as we were watching this show, we both thought, oh, here we go, spin-off. Star Trek, the Wesley Crusher Chronicles, or something like that. So, anyway, the first hypothesis I threw out was sort of this explanation that we as human beings have the capacity beyond what we believe we do, and that a natural progression in our development, call it evolution, that we would expand in our consciousness in such a way to be like the Traveler and develop so forth. And if every other piece of living matter does the same thing over billions and billions of years, that when the universe eventually fizzles out in maximum entropy, at the same time every living organism would have advanced to the point of, I'll say, super consciousness, where we end up with another singularity and another eon producing the next Big Bang, and we move forward. That was option number one, at any rate.